Yo, what up, nyahos? It's your buddy Philko here, reporting live from Yekaterinburg, Russia. Going to make a quick video about me and children in Russia, like me and Russian children. I don't speak much about children because, I don't really know how to say it, because in Russia, people are more sensitive about children and children jokes. I don't know if you guys remember, but not too long ago, what was this, like maybe 2 years ago or a year and a half, there was like some Russian adopted child in America was like killed or somehow, like left in a car or something like that, and Russia decided to stop letting Americans adopt children. So I guess it was kind of a stereotype for a little while that Americans are bad parents and they treat children badly. So I try to refrain, whatever. I try to keep from making some certain jokes around children in Russia that I would make in America. So like in America, I'd crack a joke something like, to a kid around other adults to piss me off, I'm like, you want to catch the backhand or you want to go sit down? Then I'll go sit down. But you can't do those kind of things in Russia, especially as a black person, but even as just a regular Russian person, unless you're the parent, it looks really, really bad. So they're way more sensitive towards their children here in Russia than we are in America when it comes to disciplining, especially when you're American, because it looks bad because of those situations in the past, whatever. But I'm going to speak some about my experiences. Let's start from the beginning. My first experience with children, my first experiences with children was in the town of Dimitrov. I was there, it's near Moscow, I was there for, 6 weeks, taking care of, no, 4 weeks, and I was, it was an everyday job. I was working in a daycare with kids and stuff like that, and what did I think of it? I was a teacher. I was actually a teacher for 4 weeks. Every day I was in a classroom. For the first 3 weeks, I had an assistant teacher with me. The last week, it was just me by myself. And I was actually being a teacher for these kids, and you start to love them and care for them, but you always love it when you don't have to see them anymore. So it's like 2 in 1. It's like the kids are going yes, and then you're like, oh, you kind of miss them, but you're still happy they're gone. Like I remember that feeling I had. It was so confusing, and I remember like the most I ever cared for any creatures was like, besides family, like my cats. But I love my kitties to death, but I can tell from taking care of those kids that once I have a child, the child will be way more important than the kitties, because it's a human, it's a little you, blah 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 blah. But I would have to say one thing I did realize was that, like, how some girls are stuck up and stuff, especially the pretty ones, that starts very young. That stuck up shit starts very, very young. I had an 11-year-old and a 12-year-old, both of them. One was worse than the other. I forgot which one was worse. But they're both like the tall, pretty girls of the class, and they behaved just like the adults. Stuck up, didn't want to talk to anybody, always gave me an attitude when I asked them to answer a question, gave other students attitudes when I told them to be in a group with like some others. Like, ew, no. It's like, you're 11 and 10. Really? It starts young. And nothing about kids in general. This is just saying about Russian kids, it's about kids in general. They smell. And let me tell you what I mean by they smell bad. Because around the age, I guess, 10, whatever, their armpits start to like give off scent. They start to develop a scent, whatever, and it smells bad. It's not just that they smell bad. It's about all children, not just Russian children. So calm your ass down. It's not just that there's something wrong with them. It's just that I guess the parents don't realize it, and they think they're too young for deodorant or something. But that's not the case. There are certain kids every day that just smell bad, and it's the same thing anywhere with children, because once they start developing this, they slowly start developing that scent from their underarms. They get used to it over time, and the parents, I guess, get used to it too, so they don't realize that their kids need deodorant. So I don't know. Maybe people who don't know your children could be the one to tell you, yeah, it's time for you to start putting, some deodorant on your child. Because there's an age. I don't know the age, but I remember there's always some kids. It's like, geez, every day this kid, and I'm sure he showers. It's just their parents just are used to it, or they just don't put deodorant on the kid. That's one thing I noticed. Let's see something else. So yeah, it was that in Dimitrov. Had a lot of fun, a lot of kids. Then there was this thing I did near Kazan, where you guys saw it, where I was giving a speech to 200 kids, and after the speech, they all rushed me for pictures. Crazy. And they were playing 50 Cent in the club in the background, and all the kids rushed me. And I know you guys saw the clip, one of me and Dimitrov, where I surprised, like, I don't know, it was maybe 50 kids at the party, and they all rushed me, and the kids were falling and screaming, going crazy. Yeah, I mean, the kids are fine. I just, because I recently implemented a new rule. Like, I don't want kids at my classes. Like, I had one kid in my class in Ukraine, but I let it slide because her father was really, really cool. But in Russia, you gotta be really careful with children and stuff, especially being an American teacher. So I'm gonna let all you American teachers know who plan on teaching in Russia, you have to be real careful with children because of the laws and stuff they have. anything I say could be taken the wrong way, especially because sometimes I have spies in my class, literally spies who are just waiting for me to do something. You know what I mean? Waiting for me to say or do something wrong so they can report it, put it on the news, and deport me. That's what happened last time. I had spies in that class. When I was in the town of Pensa and they tried to deport me, I had spies in my class. I spotted them all. I called it too. I spotted both of them and called it in class. Because Russians, unless they took acting lessons, Russians are the worst actors. That's the first thing I realized when I got here. Russians are the worst actors. The worst. The best kind of actors they have in Russia, like not including real actors, are like the guys who don't like you and they'll try to smile and pretend to be nice. I always spot that shit. They're like, why don't you come hang out with us? Like, nigga, get the fuck off me. Like, I'm not stupid. You know, I even went through that in Ukraine. Like, nigga, don't fucking touch me, dude. Like, he was trying to, some guy was trying to bring me somewhere where him and his friends were so they could jump me. So I'm like, get the fuck out of here. If you're going to do something, it's going to be me and you right here. You know, then he stepped off because he was mad because I was with 2 girls. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, y'all the worst actors. They're the worst actors. Like in America, you can meet people who trick you real well. They'll really make you think they're a friend. They will really make you think they're a friend in a second. Just switch on you. But in Russia, they're not that good. Even the girls. You have a boyfriend? Yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah. So, oh my God. You know, the Russians aren't the best actors. But now back to the children. Then I had spiritual children, like I said there. Then where else was it? Where I was with the kids and stuff. That's all I can remember right now. But now just to me and kids in general. Some girl yesterday, I forgot what girl it was, got real offended when I said if I was at a date with a girl and I found out she had kids, I would probably just never see her again. There's only one girl I know in my life who I let stay close to me and she has a child. There's only one. When it comes to like dating or whatever. And people are like, oh, that's selfish of you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, it ain't. You know, I like my independence. I like my freedom. I like traveling. If I get too close to this girl with a child, I'm going to become a father figure for that child. And then I got to be a father to that child. And I don't want to hurt the child's feelings. And I don't want to play games. I'm not going to be around. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be around. I don't want to adopt a child by association. By being there. I'm there every day for like 6 months. I'm the new dad. If I disappear, where's daddy? And I got to be a father? I don't have kids for a reason. You understand? And then people are like, would you have kids in Russia? I always say no. I wouldn't have kids in Russia. I'd have kids in America, maybe Germany. Like America or any other country where the American military is. I could have a child in one of those places. That's usually it. And maybe Budapest. There's no American military in Hungary, I believe. But maybe Hungary, because it seems really nice. But, you know, Russia just isn't the place for me to have kids because, not saying Russia's bad, but it's not for me. It's just not for me here to have kids, nah. Because I'm going to go crazy. Because like in Moscow, I can't deal with the staring and stuff like that. And when my child's involved, it just might go crazy. So I'm not going to do that. And how many kids do I want to have? I'll probably have about 3. You know, about 3. And 90% chance my kids will be mixed with black and Ukrainian or black and Russian. They're like, Привет, my nigga. It's going to be adorable. And that's really it. I mean, I don't think about it that much. People want to know when do I plan on settling down and having kids. Well, when I'm in my 30s, I would probably say 31 to be safe. Probably when I'm like 31 years old, you know. And I'll be back in America by then, you know. And I will just I'll bring a woman back with me most likely. We'll get married and, you know, it'll be fun. So, yeah. So right now I'm not thinking about it too much. But my Russian visa expires like 2017. Sometime 2017. Yeah, so I got some time. So basically once that visa expires, I should be back in America trying to have some children. Yeah. And that's basically it. Interesting video, I hope. I'm out. Made it.